this is Olivia Daly.
Alright, yes, I'm Olivia Daly, and I did my capstone presentation on body image, body positivity, media, and basically its effect on teenage girls. So my love and passion for this topic started with the group Act Like a Girl, Triple R, and it is a personal growth month-long camp for girls ages 12 to 18. Oops, oh goodness. Oh my goodness. There we go. 12 to 18, and basically it's a month-long camp where we have daily writing prompts that involve lots of introspection and reflection on ourselves, our lives, our stories, and all the above. And so every day we write and every day we read, and in a space of all women with non-judgments, using like non-violent communication styles, and just really opening ourselves up to each other and working on ourselves. So at the end of the month, there's a performance of dancing. Every girl gets to read some of the pieces that they wrote throughout the month, and we write a song and all sorts of that stuff. And just the bonds that I made throughout that camp were just so amazing. And one of the things I realized was that being able to support these other girls in their journey and feeling their support really made me realize that it's okay to love myself, and that it was okay to support these other girls in their journeys as well. So I decided to create a blog called Body Positivity Central. And the blog was created to help inspire girls and women to journey the road of self-love. I post a lot about just body positivity in general. I post a lot of pictures of girls with very different body types in their journeys. Some of the girls, they're still working on it, still feeling kind of insecure, but just the fact that they're out there, putting themselves out there, is always really inspiring. I provide links to other body positivity blogs and websites, just to get different angles and perspectives. Also, people can submit questions anonymously or publicly about whatever they may need to ask, or just share their story or whatever. I can always respond. And I'm really glad that I started it. I've learned a lot, and I've just really enjoyed it. Here are some screenshots from my blog. So the girl on the far left, talking about feminism and how like fat fetishism is like a really big problem with girls who are overweight feeling like they're only accepted for their bodies by guys who are like fetishizing fat women and not actually valuing them as people, which is like a huge problem. And then this girl over here, who she does like modeling, and she's like a larger black woman, and she just is really empowered, and she struggled with an eating disorder for a while with bulimia, so she's kind of like talking about her story down there. So just like posting like lots of different stuff, some cool buttons, different phrases on links. That's kind of stuff I like to post. As far as the paper goes, it's basically just analyzing and discussing the various beauty standards set upon both men and women in America, because even though as a woman, you feel it very intensely, it's definitely also very valid for men. So my thesis statement was the beauty standards for men and women need to be diversified in order to give the public a more realistic idea of what it means to be beautiful. And as far as the actual process of writing the paper, it was very difficult. 2,300 words is a lot, but I really enjoyed the research and like learning about the topic and like learning about all of that stuff was just super interesting. And some really interesting statistics that I found were that 69% of girls said that magazine models influenced their idea of a perfect body. The body type portrayed in advertising as the ideal body type is only possessed naturally by 5% of American women. And 23% of men in a healthy weight range believe they're overweight. 81% of 10-year-olds are afraid of being fat, and in my opinion, the most shocking was eating disorders have the highest mortality rate of any mental illness, and only 1 in 10 of men and women ever receive treatment for it. And of those 1 in 10, only about 30 to 31% of those people actually go to an eating disorder specific clinic. The rest just end up in, general health care. So it's a very big problem, and those numbers could be way higher because the actual statistics for eating disorders are basically unknown. One of the most interesting discoveries that I found was that a study was performed in 1995 amongst Fijian adolescent girls, and Fiji is a remote island, has very minimal exposure to Western mainstream media, and also in Fiji, they're a culture that's very centered around food and family, and so body image really isn't a big deal there, and more thicker, curvaceous bodies are what's desired there, that's what's seen as more attractive. So they interviewed all these girls, and none of the girls really had any body insecurities, or had ever like dieted or like self-induced vomited to lose weight. And then they exposed them to modern Western television and magazines, and then for 3 years, and then the same survey was conducted, and 11.3% reported self-induced vomiting to lose weight, 69% reported dieting, 74% of the girls reported feeling too fat or too big some of the time, and girls who lived in a house with a TV were 3 times as likely to experience disordered eating behavior. So that's just in 3 years. We've been dealing with this our whole lives. The psychological damage of this stuff is so deep and just so rooted in who we are, so it's a big problem. As far as myself, 3 defining moments in my school career was in the 6th grade. I went to a really small private Montessori school, and basically when I was supposed to be in 6th grade, the first day of 6th grade, they told me and 2 other girls that we weren't going to be in 6th grade because we weren't ready, weren't mature enough, weren't ready to handle the struggles of 6th grade. But I wasn't down with that because the rest of my class got to move on and I was being held back. So I went to a different private school, toured, got into the school, and then I went down to my principal's office and told her look, I've gotten into this other school, I know I can do the 6th grade, and if you don't let me in, I'm just gonna leave and take my money elsewhere. And so she was like, all right, if you think you can do it, then I'll let you in. So I did, was let in, and clearly, it was a successful 6th grade. So, and that was kind of small, but it did prove to myself that it doesn't matter if it's my principal or any administration, anyone who's above me, if I stand up for myself and go for it, I can make things happen and I can create the life that I want. And then once I got into middle school, my teacher, Kim Blevins-Releva, she has a son who went here named Jack, who is a good friend of mine. She was just an amazing teacher for those 2 years. She taught me English and history, and she was just an amazing woman. Very she reminds me a lot like Miss Miranda, where she was very motherly, but also very no nonsense. Had her stuff together. Very intelligent, strong woman. And then once I got into NSA, the NSA choral department has just taught me so much about not only classical choral music, which is something that I never thought I would like, but I do love it so much, but also just being a singer and how much my voice has improved and grown since then. It's just really amazing. So, yeah. Reflection, like I said, I loved researching my topic. I loved learning about it. And it's something that I'll always be passionate about, always be